of all time. It's history of men of all time.
Welcome back, Wrestling Warriors. Here on Matt Mysteries, we drop fresh WWE news every day. Subscribe, and let's suplex our way into the stories. The wrestling world has been shaken to its core. What was meant to be a celebration of love, partnership, and athletic greatness became a heartbreaking reminder of the human cost behind the spectacle of professional wrestling. This is the story of Bianca, the EST Belmont, and her husband, Marcus Lightning Ford, a power couple whose lives were forever changed by a tragedy that never should have happened. It's a story of ambition, negligence, and a system that valued spectacle over safety. The perfect pair. In and out of the ring. Bianca Belmont and Marcus Ford were more than just wrestlers. They were symbols of excellence, unity, and passion. Bianca had become one of wrestling's most celebrated athletes. Strong, charismatic, and universally respected for breaking barriers in a male-dominated industry. Her nickname, the EST, said it all. The strongest, fastest, and toughest in the game. Marcus, meanwhile, was a second-generation star whose mix of speed and agility earned him the name Lightning. Together they were electric, a real-life couple whose chemistry translated effortlessly into the ring. Their teamwork, their love, and their authenticity made them fan favorites across the world. They weren't just champions. They were proof that heart and hard work could conquer anything. Or so it seemed. The rise of a dangerous rivalry. Their on-screen feud with a faction known as the Corporate Elite, led by the villainous Vincent the Suit Sterling and his brutal enforcer Bradley Knox, was meant to be a career-defining storyline. It was good versus evil, passion versus greed, and fans loved every second of it. The story drew heavily from real-life frustrations, a battle between wrestlers and the corporate machine that controlled them. But somewhere along the way, the fiction blurred into reality. The creative team began pushing the feud into darker, more dangerous territory. Stunts got riskier, matches got more extreme, and while it looked thrilling on TV, those close to the situation knew it was only a matter of time before something went horribly wrong. Warnings ignored. Weeks before the fateful event, multiple people, wrestlers, trainers, and even producers, raised concerns about the increasing danger of the planned match sequences. According to those familiar with the situation, both Marcus and Bianca personally approached management, warning them that certain stunts were simply too risky. Marcus, known for his professionalism, wasn't trying to be difficult. He was trying to stay safe. His concerns, however, were met with indifference. Some executives reportedly told him that if he couldn't handle the creative direction, maybe he wasn't main event material. Bianca's influence backstage couldn't change their minds either. She tried, but the answer was always the same. Trust the process. In the end, the people with power chose ratings over reason. The night everything changed. It was supposed to be their moment, the culmination of months of storytelling and emotional buildup. The match, a corporate warfare stipulation bout, was designed to be a grand spectacle filled with props, platforms, and complex sequences. But behind the glitz was a blueprint for disaster. Marcus had repeatedly voiced concern about one particular move, a high-risk leap from an elevated platform that required perfect timing from both him and Knox. During rehearsals, the stunt failed multiple times. Platforms shifted, positions were off, and close calls piled up. Yet, despite every warning, the move stayed in the script. When the night came, the crowd was electric. Marcus and Bianca were on fire, outmatching their opponents at every turn. Then came the moment, the stunt everyone had been waiting for. Marcus climbed the platform, took a deep breath, and jumped. But something went wrong. Just a few inches off, and everything changed. Knox couldn't adjust in time, and instead of a clean reversal, Marcus came crashing down in a horrifying impact that silenced the arena. The audience didn't cheer. They froze. The horror on Bianca's face told the truth before the commentators could. This wasn't a storyline. It was a real-life emergency. The aftermath in the ring, Bianca immediately dropped character, rushing to Marcus's side. The sight of her kneeling beside her injured husband, pleading for him to move, was one of the most gut-wrenching moments ever seen in wrestling. Medical staff flooded the ring, working frantically as the cameras continued to roll. For nearly 20 minutes, Bianca refused to leave Marcus's side. When the ambulance finally arrived, she climbed in with him, still wearing her ring gear, still shaking from the shock. The image of her holding his hand as the ambulance doors closed would haunt fans for years to come. A company in damage control. In the hours that followed, the organization behind the event released a carefully worded statement. They expressed sympathy and called the incident an unfortunate in-ring accident, reminding the public that professional wrestling carries inherent risks. What they didn't say was that they had ignored weeks of safety warnings. What they didn't mention was the internal pressure on performers to push boundaries for viral moments. Behind the scenes, legal teams were already crafting a defense, attempting to distance the company from any liability. Whispers began circulating that management planned to blame Marcus for improperly executing the move. A cruel twist that only deepened the heartbreak. Bianca's silent strength. While Marcus fought for his life in the hospital, Bianca fought her own battle outside it. She stayed by his side day and night, refusing media appearances and shutting out the noise. But her silence wasn't weakness. It was resolve. When Marcus eventually stabilized, doctors confirmed what everyone feared. He would never wrestle again. The injury had ended his career. Their shared dream was over. Bianca was left to decide whether she could ever return to a ring that had taken so much from her. The price of courage. Through it all, Bianca displayed the same strength that made her the EST. She faced public scrutiny, corporate pressure, and personal grief, yet never lost sight of her mission, to make sure no other performer would endure what she and Marcus had. Her bravery gave other wrestlers the courage to speak up about unsafe working conditions and mental health struggles within the industry. She became not just a performer, but a voice for change. A call for accountability. This tragedy must serve as a wake-up call. The industry can no longer hide behind the excuse that accidents happen. Preventable accidents aren't fate, they're failure. Wrestling doesn't need fewer risks. It needs smarter, safer practices. Performers shouldn't have to choose between their dreams and their lives. The time has come for accountability, transparency, and genuine care for the athletes who give everything to entertain us. Conclusion. Beyond the spotlight. The story of Bianca Belmont and Marcus Ford is a reminder that behind every show-stopping performance are human beings who bleed, sacrifice, and risk everything for their art. It's easy to cheer the highlights, to chant the catchphrases, to get swept up in the spectacle. But moments like this force us to look deeper. This tragedy wasn't just a wrestling accident. It was a systemic failure fueled by greed and negligence. But through her strength and her refusal to be silenced, Bianca turned tragedy into truth. Her fight for justice isn't over, and her message is clear. Wrestlers deserve protection, respect, and accountability, not silence.